I'm just going to start recording. You and I just talk. It doesn't matter. I was told a long time ago that they wanted to cut my foot off. They're like, it's not going to get better. You won't need a foot. And listen, for comedy, that would have been great because you got a missing foot, you get booked. The more handicapped you are, the better it is. But I wasn't doing comedy yet, so I didn't know I needed that to get good gigs. I thought I needed.
Do you know you would have won Last Comic Standing, America's Got Talent, and all of that if you'd have just had the missing foot?
And they would have called me Last Comic Standing on one foot. They would have made like a huge joke. It would have been so hilarious.
Exactly.
Me and Josh Blue would be on a world tour of being just crippled. It would have been. But I never would have been on Compound because they wouldn't let a crippled guy in. They don't do that. Like not to host a show.
Oh, okay, yeah. But they can't see your foot. I refuse to believe that Kumi is that tight. He's like, let me see your feet.
If I was missing an eye or a hand or an ear, no. But you're right. As long as the desk can cover the hooves, they're good. That's fine. How have you been holding up? You doing good?
Yeah, so far spectacular. What I've been doing is just I get out, I get on my bike, I go out to the store, talk to girls on the street. They got that look in their eye like they've been cooped up too long, and they just want to talk. And so next thing you know, I find myself in long conversations, walking by the water. Next thing I know, I got a new friend.
The thirst. I didn't know the quarantine made people thirsty, but there is a very thirsty person out there right now, and they are in Target, and they got a lot of makeup on for no reason. They are in there. They are standing 6 feet apart, but they're looking better than they ever did. They used to never dress up for Target, but now they're getting ready. They're over at the grocery store.
They used to have the oversized shirt, the fucking flip-flops on, the pajama pants. Now they're in dresses. Their hair is done, flat ironed or something like that.
They're wearing a sports bra and the tight pants, and they look like someone squeezed on a thing of biscuits. It's all popping out in the middle, but they think they're looking good.
I knew the thirst was real. Let me tell you when I knew the thirst was real. I knew the thirst was real when everybody said, all these girls were saying Cuomo was a major hunk or whatever like that.
Yes.
All of a sudden, around the world now, everybody loves Cuomo. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, they loved him because he could control if they go outside. They're like, maybe he can let me go out.
Cuomo, he's our man. My mother asked me this morning. She's like, "Oh, your governor is on. I gotta go watch him." What, nigga?
I think that he did. I do believe he thought about running for president when that hype became for a minute. And I'll bet you Hillary was like, listen, if you run, I will give your brother COVID. And she's like, no, you won't. And then she did. Yeah. And I think Hillary did it. I think she gave his brother COVID.
I believe all of that. I believe Hillary gave everybody everything. I believe somebody is behind all of this, and I won't go into it yet until you're ready to it. But I just believe that Hillary she's somewhere waiting to pounce because it just was too coincidental. Just too coincidental. That in an election year when Donald Trump had just gotten over being almost impeached over the bullshit. But the thing is, it was like all of a sudden now, and then now it's like, oh, now we're going to judge how he handles this thing. So this is his war. And because they didn't like him from the jump, and I've been liking Donald Trump since 1979. So I know of a Donald Trump on this planet. I had no preconceived notions about who he was. I just know who he was or whatever. But the thing is that now all of a sudden in this era no, I believe that this was planned. I believe that Hillary or the Democrats, I'm not saying that people aren't dying, rest in peace to them or whatever like that and their families or whatever. What I'm saying is this was a direct attack on our country, on our way of life, and on our allies. You can see it. Look at the map. And, whether it's coming from China, Russia, the Democrats, whoever, they wanted this right now. It's a perfectly timed hit.
I'm in with you, Larry. Here's the thing. I think that Hillary at one point thought that Joe Biden could win. I think in her mind, she thought that years back that Biden could beat it. And what she would do is last second say, I'll help you. I'll be your vice president, knowing he was going to die soon or be too senile. And then she'd get her power that way. When she saw that was failing, when he started sniffing people and started rubbing the leg hairs and talk about corn pop, she's like, oh shit, corn pop, we can't do this. So what are we going to do? So she decided, all right, I need a new plan. She started talking with her China people because she's down with them. Her and Bill always had that connection. What can we do? Let's put something together. I believe that the cure to the COVID, the coronavirus, is the stem cells from Jeffrey Epstein's body, and she has them because she killed him. She's been drinking baby blood, and she's been making it with her lizard people. And when she's going to come out and say, if you don't make me your president, I won't cure you. And I think that's what's happening.
And you know, and I'm gonna tell you where she keeps it. She keeps that Epstein's stem cell in her purse with that hot sauce that she had when she was running for president. And when they asked her what did she keep in her purse when she was on Hot 97,
yes.
And she told the black people, I keep hot sauce in my purse. So she gonna sprinkle some of that hot sauce on his stem cells. But you know the thing is that gets me about them. I mean, she's pathetic. She's always been pathetic. And
how is Trump racist, but she wasn't for that? That was the most racist planned out thing I've ever heard. Just to go, I'll trick him with hot sauce. I'll trick him. That's what she was thinking. I'll fool him with hot sauce.
Yo, listen, we all grew up. You and I, we grew up when Bill Clinton was on Arsenio Hall playing
the saxophone.
Now, we know that Bill Clinton is a smooth motherfucker.
Yes.
So it wasn't even about race. I mean, it sort of was, but it was about a smooth motherfucker came in and rocked it. Because had he been any other person that couldn't have rocked it, people would have laughed at it. But Hillary, she don't get that pass. No. She don't get that pass from everybody where you transcend what the race is and be like, yo, this motherfucker sat in and killed it.
I knew something was wrong with her. I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know anything about her when Bill Clinton was running for president. But I could tell right away he was smooth. He was charming. He was built to be a politician. But in that smooth, I'll trick you, like a slick car salesman, not a shady car salesman. Like, you know what I mean? He, at the end of the day, he kind of believed it. That car was for you. He still was going to rip you off, but he still wanted to make you happy. But I was like, as smooth as he is, he could get better bitches than her. Why is she there? Oh, she has to be there for her own well-being, for her reason. Yeah. They're a team. They're put together like in House of Cards. They're put together to become powers, not because they need each other. So that's when I started to get scared of her.
Yeah, I knew about her in the early 70s. That whole Nixon thing. She was a part of that whole team with Nixon and everything like that. I think they were investigating Nixon at that time. Or whatever like that, and then she was a Goldwater girl. So she was always in the ether. You know, during that time growing up, she was always in the ether. And I met Bill Clinton twice. I met him when I was in the Air Force, and I met him when I left the Air Force, and I was at my undergraduate school. Took my GI Bill and went to school. And at my undergraduate school, he was running for president at the time. So I was like cognizant of him, you know. And I met him, and Jesse Jackson was there. So I said, okay. If they parading Jesse around there with him, then what they're trying to say is, black folk, please give us this goddamn vote.
Come on, he likes the Rainbow Coalition. Get in here. He's enjoying it.
and so, but who doesn't like a smooth dude? Like, okay, that's why we like James Bond. That's why we like John Travolta and Saturday Night Fever.
Well, it's why we like Jesse Jackson. I was a young white kid who didn't know anything about black leaders. It's not like my world. I grew up in Connecticut. It's not like I was exposed to it. We didn't have the internet and things like that. The first black leader I've ever was exposed to, besides history books, we didn't get much, was Jesse Jackson, and he came off, well-spoken. He came off educated, and he came off in a way where I was like, he seems kind of cool. And I know you look later, but to someone like me, I was like, nothing is threatening, because they would say he's nothing like Farrakhan. They would scare you with Farrakhan. As a young white kid, you're like, I didn't even know who he was. I was just supposed to be scared. Or he's not Malcolm X. He's Jesse Jackson. Look, he's on Saturday Night Live. He's fun. He's saying he's saying Jaime Town. That's fun.
He's fun. He's happy.
Hates the Jews. He's fun.
And the thing is with Jesse was a cross. At that time, I thought of Jesse Jackson as a cross between Malcolm and Martin Luther King and Bill Cosby, somewhere in that range. You know, it was like he was Martin's boy. They hung out together. They did the civil rights and everything like that. I can't take away some of the work that they did or whatever. I've just never been a fan of a lot of those quote unquote black leaders like a Sharpton and all these people, because I understand that people put those people up to, the Democrats put those people up to maintain the black vote. Like, and I say I've never been a Democrat. Even when President Obama ran, I didn't disrespect him or anything like that. He still was the president of the United States, and whoever's the president, I look at him as the commander in chief. I was in the military.
Right.
That is our highest part of our chain of command. So you're trained to respect the command. You don't have to like them, but you have to respect our order in order for us to keep what we have. But the thing is that, I knew what the game was. The game was the Negro vote has to go to the Democrats. That's just standard issue. And anytime a Republican goes in, guess what we have to do? We have to try to impeach him, but then we always have to play the race card with him. And that's what, look back in history. They just always had to play the race card or whatever like that, as opposed to, let's just talk politics. Let's just talk the issues at hand. We still to this day don't know what the Democrats want, because all they wanted for the last 4 years was just to get this man out of office and make the people distrust this man. They never came up with anything that tops it when he exposed them for giving all our trade agreements to China. And I don't want to get into politics or whatever like that, but you see the game, you see the bullshit what they was doing. So it's like, what are you playing us for stupid? So when somebody comes along like a Donald Trump that just says, you know what, y'all playing the game, I'll play the game back, but y'all take it to a street fight. And you say something about me, I'm gonna say something about you. He talking about Jeb Bush's mother. I was like, come on, that's some corner shit right there.
Yes. See, well, to me, the Democrats have become like, you're dating a girl for a while, and she says to you, you need to change. I don't like you doing this or this or this. And you, even though you're like, I don't really want to change who I am. Listen, maybe it's better for me. Maybe I don't know, but maybe I'll be a better person. This person supposedly cares about me. I will change. So you change those three things. And then that girl turns and goes, well, now that you changed that, I don't like who you are now because of this. So change back to that, but also change this. And you're like, do you even know what you want? She's, well, I know I want you to be different. But, well, I am different. Yeah, but now you're different from what I was before. Now, so they don't know what they want. They just know they want control. And that's it. And there's no end game. It's just they want you to keep jumping in. And then what happens is you start seeing a new girl, and this new girl is loud, and this new girl, it doesn't take shit. And this new girl pushes you out of the way, and she's going to talk with her little hands and getting all mad and saying things like huge and getting upset. And now they don't know what to do because new girl's got your back. Now, new girl's going to hurt you at the end. She's going to break your heart, but she's going to help you get out. She's going to help you get out of that old relationship.
But she got some good pussy. I'm gonna just say that.
She'll grab you right by it.
And the thing is that what gets me is that being in the military, we are the United States of America. Who has done more to divide? Listen. I'm up here in Greenwich, Connecticut now, so I know where I'm at. I know who the people. These are a lot of my neighbors. They're fun and good people and everything like that. But there's some people. They give you your second look or whatever like that. But they go to work. They're not complaining about anything.
Like,
even
he can't play basketball. He's too short. What's he doing here?
Exactly. So wait a minute.
I knew the Knicks were bad, but he's 5'10".
MC Short rapper. But the thing is that what gets me is they don't start trouble. The Democrats, for some reason, they became that Becky from the yearbook staff who just decided she was going to walk around and just start trouble. That, like, if you don't agree with her, then the problem is you. Not that I was in New York. I was coming from Compound Media one day, and it was a lot of police officers walking down the street or whatever like that. And so they were protesting that the city was protesting them about their handling of the MTA and shit like that or whatever like that. So the police was just walking. Now, there was this lady who was walking down the street. I didn't know. I just come out, for 35th Street. So I asked her. I said, what was going on? You notice I said asked. Yeah. I didn't ask her. I asked her. I said, well, what's going on? So she was telling me about the situation. And she was like, the police are mean and da-da-da, whatever like that. And, white lady. And I said, well, she's about my age, maybe a little younger. So I said, well, we do need police presence on the MTA or whatever like that. I said, and these people want to go home just like they do. And they deal with all kind of shit. She said, you're just like all of them. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Slow down, FedEx. What are we talking about? You're telling me that you want a lawless society on the train where girls are getting slashed in their face, people are stealing, I said, so you're saying, it's too much for them to do that. I said, look at the lunacy that they have to deal with. I said, there's a balance, there's a side to both. No, she was just, no, you're wrong. You're part of the problem. and da da da. So I said, well, I just believe that they're human beings just like you. And if somebody's protesting their presence, what would you do without their presence? And you actually really required their help or whatever. And so I just walked off or whatever. But I laughed and I went to Gotham right after that. And I talked about that on stage or whatever. But I just thought it was funny how Democrats now, if you don't agree with them, oh, you're fucked.
It's what happened is, I believe that, okay, the Democrat, when I'm 45, you're in your early 50s, when we were growing up, the Democrats were the people that would say that, we're all free, we all have our own rights, we all should be treated equal. That was kind of their thing. They were pushing for that more. Back then, they were pushing more for equality than the conservatives really were. Not that the conservatives or the Republicans, they weren't called that. The Republicans then, it's not that they didn't want rights as well, but they were more worried about the economy than they were about the equality. That's kind of how it was then.
Yeah.
What happened is, those parents, our parents, were showing it to us. But I think lost in translation, we stopped talking about how it's supposed to be equal people, and we started saying equal as individuals, and started saying not only, Larry, you as an African American should have the same rights as Pat as a white person, but no, Larry, if you decide you want to be identify as a llama, then you should be allowed to be a llama, and I should never say a word, and you can do whatever you want with that, and you can say this, you can yell this, you can call anyone any name, but if they call you a name back, how dare they? And it became this tattletale thing, and it flipped. Now the conservative people who are like worried about the business are like, well, no, we want everyone to be equal, but seriously equal on one playing field, not individuals all having individual rights. And that's where the craziness now. That's why that woman on the train or the subway is yelling at you saying, no, we shouldn't have police. How dare they tell me what to do? I'm important. I'm more important than everyone else. That's what I've been raised to be told. Everything about that's the problem. The Democrat has become. I don't like using the words now. It's now conservatives and liberals. It's not those. We're not in the parties anymore. They're different parties, and they really think that they've gotten too far. Where they think they have their own rights, and that starts with social media. Every human being has their own Facebook page. Andy Warhol was right. We shouldn't have our own 15 minutes of fame. I can look you up. Well, yeah, we do comedy, but you can meet that girl you met outside today, and you can learn everything about her on the internet. We shouldn't have that kind of fame. Some people
and then make a decision, and then make a decision about her. It's like, oh, and that became like, listen, I'm all for. We all know things just wasn't 100% right in this country. Okay, where is it on this planet? Where is it on this planet where everything is 100% correct?
Amsterdam.
So we had a little problem. Amsterdam.
They're killing it.
They're smoking weed.
That's it. They're just smoking weed and chilling. And they don't care if they're attractive because they're so high. They just fuck. Like, they don't care.
And that's what I'm saying, because I met a couple of them from there. So you're 100% right. But the thing is that I look at this and I go, wait a minute. So we had some issues and we had some growing pains, and we did it, and we're overcoming it. And I'm not trying to take those issues lightly or whatever like that, but I understand that nothing's perfect. I mean, I've been in some situations in Desert Storm that made me forget about the imperfections of America. I'm just saying, I've been there. So the thing is that when you look at it, you go, oh, okay. But these people are like trying to be like, yo, if you don't agree with us, I'm gonna tell you 3 things happened to me since this whole Donald Trump situation. And I took some big L's. Losses. I don't call them losses. I just understood how people are. 3 things happened. First, when I voted for Donald Trump, because I'm Republican, well, who would I vote for? You know what I'm saying? That Hillary, come on. I didn't like her. I didn't want her. And so the thing is that I had to come out to my family on Thanksgiving. You come out of the closet. I came out of my closet.
Now, is your family very Democrat?
Okay, so now, my mother and my father, they got my back like a bra strap. They with me no matter what I do. My brother, he's the same way. That's my core family. But then when you talk about my extended family, like cousins and stuff like that, and we over my aunt's house, and it was like a record stop when when they said something about Donald Trump, and I just had a light rebuttal to what they said, and all of a sudden everybody just looked at me and was like, wait a minute, you're not telling me you're defending him, are you? And I mean, I haven't spoken to them people the same way since. They don't fuck with me like that.
But what is their argument? See, listen, I was raised Democratic. I've been a Democrat most of my life, but I wasn't really political. I just kind of was. Like I said, I was raised in that way where it was about equality, and freedom of speech was more that side. And I was grown up poor. It kind of If you were poor, you were Democrat. If you were rich, you're Republican. It's kind of where it went. In the last couple of years, I'm not saying I'm for Trump, but I'm more open to hearing both sides because I don't like what's on the side I'm supposedly on. I don't like anything they're doing, anything they represent. Right. And at the end of the day, I see that there's more jobs. I see things are happening, and I see this anger and divide that is like becoming from hatred, which means someone's doing something right and someone's doing something wrong, and I don't know what. So, but I'm more open to it now. But if I told people in my family, if I said I was thinking about voting for Trump, I think some of my sisters would disown me. Okay. Like literally, because women, more so than African Americans, women, white women will get real mad at you.
Now, let me, okay. Now, I'm glad you brought that subject up because now I'm on to number two. Number two. And we'll
no more white women. I'm with you. Fuck them. Throw them out. They're gone. I'm fine. I like Puerto Ricans better. Fuck white women.
Right. You got to hit it. You got to hit it. My girlfriend for 9 years. 9 years. Now, if you ever been in a relationship for 9 years, you know that just ain't no.
I was married, so I know what that is. So it's
like a marriage. Come on.
I was married.
We had a house. We're in Bay Ridge. We're beautiful. Not a hitch. When she voted for Obama in 2008, I didn't say a peep. I didn't disrespect him the whole 8 years of his presidency. I did not vote for him or whatever like that, but he was the commander-in-chief, so I said, okay, I'm not going to say nothing. Just like Republicans generally do. They just go on and they wait for the next 4 years. She found out, we were talking, we were laughing, okay. You know, white girls like to go to these trivia games and shit like that. You know, they love trivia.
They're not good at trivia, but they love it.
Something about trivia and White Claw, they fucking love.
Love it.
So the whole deal is like we're hanging out over her friend's house or whatever like that, and it came up, and I was like, I like Donald Trump, whatever. Now everybody in her circle, all these white dudes and white girls or whatever like that, they were so super liberal, left and all like that. You know the type in New York City. Yes. Come on, you know those types. So they're so not like you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, and the men are doing it just to fuck the women that are like that. They're not really like that. They have no real identity. They're the same ones who are also feminists, but how are you a feminist when you're a straight white dude? Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. So then I'm roasting the whole crowd in there because, they're not going to come at me and make me feel bad. I'm roasting. I'm a comedian. I'm roasting every last one of them in there and making them feel bad about themselves. I was a little harsh, but it was funny. And the thing was that when we got home, my girl told me, if you vote for Donald Trump, we are through. And guess what?
Through.
We've been through. The reason I'm living in Connecticut now is because I can't live in Bay Ridge with her. She went, and that was, and the thing is that 9 years. I brought her to Bay Ridge. That was my community for years or whatever like that. And the thing was, it was like, I became the devil. And her friends who would always go to these, the day after, I remember the day Donald Trump was elected, they all thought it was a sure win for Hillary. They just knew it was. So they was all happy. And okay, you vote for Donald Trump or whatever like that. Y'all are going to lose. Nah. I knew he was going to win. I bet, you know what I'm saying? Because I went to a bookie and bet that he was going to win and won. But the thing is that she was like, I knew I was at Bay Ridge, I was at Harbor Fitness, and it was around 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock or whatever. And when he won Florida, I knew he was going to win. Yep. Now, Ohio and Michigan hadn't come in yet, and I knew those states or whatever like that, Ohio and Pennsylvania. So I just went home. And I went home and cooked. She was over her friend's house, like they were having a watch party and all like that, yada, yada, yada. So I went to bed. I knew he was going to win. She came back to bed when she came home crying and all like that. Save me, the world is going crazy. Just was bawling. I said, look, he's not going to destroy the world in 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Right. Give him 8. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that she was so distraught. She had been so programmed by this media. See, that's the problem. I've never seen it. You've never seen it in your life. You can't find me another time in history in America where the media was so against a person that was the president of the United States of America, not even Nixon. And Nixon was just Tricky Dick.
No, we're seeing the propaganda that we used to use against other countries in wars used against ourselves for the first time ever. They're spinning it. This used to be all the war posters and things like the Germans are monsters and the Asians are, and we have to. They're going to kill us all. So you better get. I know you're supposed to stay home with your wife and kids, but you better join the military or they're going to kill your family. They're going to come over here and destroy you. We're doing that for ourselves. We're using our own propaganda spin machine against each other, which is insane. The closest I've ever seen to this, I grew up a Yankee fan. My dad was a Yankee fan. I don't really watch baseball anymore, but I was a diehard Yankee fan. I was raised to hate the Red Sox. Like, I was a kid. My dad told me I'm not kidding. My dad told me the Red Sox were communists. I didn't even know what a communist was, but he said that's why they wore red and they're bad, and he called them commie socks. I thought Wade Boggs had to change his beliefs when he came to the Yankees because I was like, how the fuck is he going to do this? He's a communist. I was always happy when they lost, and Red Sox fans were always mad when they would lose and never win. And they finally, when they broke that fucking streak of awfulness and they won, I stopped like being a Yankee fan because the Yankee fans became the women that were mad when Hillary lost. They couldn't take the fucking loss. They couldn't handle. But what happened every year when the Red Sox lost? They turned around like Republicans do and said, like you said before, 4 more years, we'll try again. 4 more years, we'll try again. They took their loss. They were upset for a week, but they didn't lose their minds. They didn't go nuts in the streets. They didn't start to try to ruin the country instead of letting the person – you can believe what you want in Trump. You could hate Trump, and I understand that. But he was never given a chance. No one ever. There was never one day where that side said, you're our president, like you said before. Let's see what you can do. He was never given a chance.
From day one, we understand. Like I said, I've been knowing of a Donald Trump, the person, the son of his father that was in the real estate business, at least since the 70s. That was Donald Trump that I knew. The one that was married to Ivanka. What is it? Ivanka, which is what's her name's mother? Who's his daughter? The fine one.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Yeah. All right. So now, when he was married to Ivanka,
who was the hot blonde? Who was the hot blonde in between? What the fuck was her? You know what I'm talking about?
Marla Maples.
Marla Maple. I remember
Maples.
her Playboy coming out. I got excited. I was a kid, and I was like, "Yeah, look at this." There you go.
Exactly.
Her and Vanna White were my favorite Playboys back then.
Exactly. So what he was just he was a playboy. He was a player. He was one of the most eligible bachelors in the city. Now there were other millionaires, kids in the city or whatever like that, but Donald Trump had that swag. He had that thing that says, I will be number one. I want to be out here. I'm doing this. And everybody loved him. Remember, he was on Oprah Winfrey, and she was loving it. Him and Oprah was friends. He was with Jesse. He was with everybody. He was
on the Little Rascals. He was in Home Alone. He was in fucking movies.
And rappers was rapping about, yo, I got money like Trump and all like that. Everybody was
He was in WrestleMania.
Everybody. The minute he declared, I'm running for president, on the Republican side, you know what they said? He's a fucking racist. And I'm like, show me your work. Show me your work. All I want to see is show me, because the Donald Trump that I was able to watch, I saw black people loving him. The Donald Trump that I was able to watch, I saw him just being a playboy. I saw him just being a cool dude. And he had a lot of money. He had a little arrogance. He had a little swag, whatever like that. But like I said, I don't look for people to be absolutes. That's just who the fuck he was. If you had to check my life, I'm probably arrogant too. But the thing is that's who he was. And I never heard this racist motherfucker or whatever like that. Yes, his father was involved in the situation with the real estate or whatever like that. But let me tell you something. There was a time redlining was happening and da-da-da. They didn't want black people in the building and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that was his father. Donald Trump was in his father's business around 14 or 15. He may have been a little bit earlier than that, but he was being groomed. But Donald Trump still ingratiated himself with black people, and they loved him and everything like that. And he never was a threat or anything like that. So I don't even buy that racism thing.
Well, no, it wasn't racist. When you're that rich, when you're that powerful, when you're that, it's not racist. It's classist. It's a difference. If you were black and you were rich, if you were Puerto Rican and you were rich, if you had power, if you had a status symbol to match with him, he respected you, or at least understood he needed you. Maybe not respected you, but understood you had value to him. If you're just a poor person, you sucked. You could be poor and black. That's who we saw in New York a lot. But if you're poor and white, You can't be racist and know someone named Omarosa. That's the blackest name in the world. You can't be friends with someone named Omarosa and be racist. I'm sorry.
And the blackest chick in the world. And I'm not dissing Omarosa. She's right, but she's. I mean,
she looked like Wesley Snipes' foot. She was black. Like she was too black.
Yeah, she was like coffee. And I'm just saying, like the thing is that, listen, like we act like people fucking act like we were born, like those things happen today. Like the things that they look back in history, they look at it like, that's not like when I fucking hate when people compare LeBron or Kobe to Michael Jordan. I said, motherfucker, there's no comparison whatsoever. I won't even hear the argument. But the thing is that they act like we can compare our values today to what happened in the 70s, 80s. Now, I was born in the 60s. They act like that you can look back through a lens that has been purposely placed there at a certain way by the Democratic Party and the media to say, okay, look at it this way. And it's like, come on, I won't look at it this way. I'll look at it from the way we were when we were going through it. We
wouldn't be where we are without that. Listen, Kobe would never learn to be Kobe if there wasn't a Michael Jordan first. You can't compare them because Michael was different than anything else. You can go, listen, if you want to be old school and say Oscar Robertson, but it's not even close. It's not a thing. Dr. J did not have all the skills. Dr. J had athletic ability, but did not have the entire game and mindset. You can't go Jerry West. You can't go. They're not. Once it was Michael Jordan, then every other person we've seen, LeBron, Kobe, anyone like that, has become the model of Michael and then become them own selves. Kobe is amazing and incredible and dominant. It would have dominated in the same world as Michael too, and a different thing. But without learning from Michael and watching Michael every day, the same way today we looked at the 60s and 70s and 80s, found the best things and worst things of it, and then developed and changed. We wouldn't have been where we are now. So you can't compare the two. You can say this came from this.
Yeah. That's like comparing Saturday Night Live now to Saturday Night Live when Belushi was on it. You can't even compare it. There is no comparison.
Well, because Belushi could do a Chinese voice and Shane Gillis got fired. I mean, you couldn't even get close to it.
Exactly.
It's not even
can't
close.
Be funny. Like you were allowed to be funny, and it's like, we look back and like we see. The thing is that assholes now. And I love it because like we did a parody song, Kung Fu Fighting, when this thing came out. Now you remember that song, Kung Fu Fighting?
I saw it and I was mad. I was not asked to be part of it.
Right.
And I said something to Chrissy, and I said she was maybe next time. And I'm like, and then I saw all the feedback, and I was like, oh, maybe it was good I wasn't on there.
They try to make it seem like Chrissy started the virus. Motherfucker, she didn't start the fucking virus. And the thing is,
I know her show has a lot of disease on it. Maybe she did,
but not that one.
No,
it's been tested for a lot of diseases. That one didn't come up. But the thing is that when you look at it, when you look and say, okay, that song was out in 1974. These people are acting like that song, but now back in 1974, everybody was dancing to it. Everybody was loving it. That was a hit fucking song.
But as a kid, I grew up going chunga chunga chung chung. Like it was racist. Like what you guys were doing was making fun of the Imagine people and tying it into this. You weren't saying let's find a Chinese song and be racist. You were she found a song that they could do like the idiots who did the Imagine thing and saying this would be funny because it ties in with Kung Fu Fighting and things like that. It wasn't just about let's make fun of Asians, but that song in 1974 was sung by a white dude, and it was made to be racist. It was definitely was. I love it, but it's everyone's Kung Fu Fighting. You'd be tired. You get all Kung Fu Fighting.
Those kicks was fast as lightning.
That is the most racist part of that song. That was the song think about it. We were kids. If someone said, tell me a Chinese song, you went, dung, 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 dung. That was it. You knew that song.
Now, okay. But let's not make them just the sole victims, because I guarantee you they have jokes about Americans and black people and they're Puerto Ricans. And you go to China,
not black people. No, they love them. They love them because they're so afraid. Because you got big dicks and you play basketball. They love you. They hate white people. They hate Koreans hate black people so much. They really do.
Okay,
especially when they own a bodega.
Oh my God! Now here's the deal. Okay, now I'm part Italian. I'm part African American from the Ivory Coast. Now, and the thing is that I grew up at a time where you could break balls. you're in South Philly, you're in all these different places. A guy would walk up to you on the street. He wouldn't even know you. Italian guy walk up to you on the street. He would say, what do you say to a black guy in a suit? And I'll go, what?
Guilty.
Like, will the defendant please rise?
There you go. It's like,
you see what I'm saying? And we would both laugh at this shit. I'm so happy. I'm so fucking happy. I grew up in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. I'm so glad that I was in Desert Storm when this change happened in America. And I went off the military in 87. So I was so happy that I remember that time, because I would have hated, I swear to God, I would have hated. Just like, there's two things I always say I would hate it to be. I would hate it to have been a woman in this life. I really would have hated to be a fucking woman in this life. And I would have hated to grew up now, because you don't remember people. Like when people tell me, oh, I got this grandfather who's so racist because he say colored people and all like that. Let me tell you something. I would rather hang out with that motherfucker than you. And you're talking about these new millennial type people or whatever like that, because they're so sensitive. They need a safety pin after something. They need
But real quick, Larry, to go back to that thing, when you were joking with the Italian guy, and the Italian guy would say that to you, and you would laugh because he used to joke. Was it okay though? Could you turn back and be like, "Hey, how can you tell if a guy's Italian? Oh, if his wife has a black eye." Like, could you say that to him? Like, or would he get mad? Would he be okay joking with you? But could he take a joke about being Italian? Because Italians
you gotta understand,
are very cocky, very cocky.
I am Italian.
Yeah, and you're a very confident man.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole deal. You listen, when you're growing up, you take it from black people, you take it from poor white people, you take it from like when you're growing up. These are the growing years. These are the wonder years of the growing up. You fight, you play, you do whatever. So it wasn't back then. We called names. We played the dozens. We did a lot of different things. And if you were funny enough not to get your ass whooped, that's what people don't forget. See, there was no participant trophies when I was growing up. What we had is the strongest person who could bust a joke or break balls. They're the ones who people liked or whatever like that. I just happened to be, and I'm sure you were the same way. We were the type of people, that's why we're comedians to this day. We're the type of people, we were anti-society anyway. We were the ones going to the principal's office because we was disrupting class. We was the ones that, we wasn't the toughest of fighters or whatever like that, but we used our wit and we used our comedy as a weapon. So when somebody came at you, you went back at them, but you knew you better do it so they laugh too, because you don't want them to get mad and then now start a fight. I've seen that happen a lot.
And also sometimes it also was a way, it was better than a punch, because listen, I can hit you, it will hurt for a second, but it goes away. Yeah. We can say things that get to the jugular. We have ways of saying things that will hurt your soul to the point where you're like, I'm not messing with that person. Why?
I ain't fucking with him no more.
You're reminding me of how my uncle's weird. I don't like that shit. How do you even know that shit? How do you know about my uncle?
Growing up for me, I'm going to tell you something right now. And this is why I love Twitter. I don't love it to the point where I'm a social media type person, but I just love to like fuck around, meet people, talk shit or whatever like that. That's basically my extent on Twitter.
You love people. You're a social butterfly. I love that about you. I was worried about you with this quarantine because like you need people. Not that you need them, but you love being around them. You like making people happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for you not to go on stage, for you not to be out there and bring smiles and be that motivator, to be that happier David Goggins, if you will, you know what I mean? Not so mean, like, and be good about it. I was worried about you. Like, I'm okay being alone in a room. That's what I do anyway. It's like,
that's not me. Because if I get alone in the room, then my PTSD comes out. Like, there's two sides of me. A lot of people who actually really know me, no, because I'm a killer and I've been a killer in the military, and people, they train me to be that. And that's just a whole different side of me. And I never like to breach that side of me because it was a place that's been implanted in me that I couldn't turn the switch off if I wanted to. So I choose to be back who I was before I went to the military. But the thing is that I love life. I love people. But you, like, when you look at people,
except for the ones you killed, we don't like them.
Listen, I'm going to say, listen, I had a pass. The military said you got a pass.
I didn't like them either. I don't know them well, but fuck them. I think you did the right thing. Fuck that baby.
Yeah. So, right, exactly. So the thing is that when you look at it, you go, okay, but we still live in this earth together. And all I want to know is this. if we're talking about moving forward past this pandemic, you know what I'm saying? Where do we go from here? Because I don't believe, and like you said, you was worried about me or whatever like that. I don't believe that we're going back.
I believe nothing will be 100.
Yeah.
We won't be like this, but we won't be like before either.
Right.
There will be changes, especially with big gatherings. That'll change forever. Tim Dillon on his podcast talked about something. He was kind of going over the top, but I kind of believe it, saying that maybe they'll find a way to read our temperatures through like a scanner. If you have over 99.9, you can't go into this show. You can't go this place because you might affect someone. They're going to start testing us before we go in places, always afraid of virus and disease, a way to kind of control us in a way to keep us out and do things like that. I think buffets are dead. I've been telling people that we'll never have buffets again, and I'll miss it. And if they're gonna do it, they're gonna have to feed you like prison. They're gonna have to like in the hole and put the little slit and just put it through, and that's how you're gonna get your buffet food. They're like, you can't cover it anymore.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something. The black barbecue, it still may happen, but it may be a little bit different. But what got me was, and this is where I go into being that person in this sense, where because I was in the Air Force, I know a lot of things that a lot of civilians don't know. And I say it like this, and I'm not saying I'm smarter than them. I just was
privy to information. Yeah,
I was privy to a lot of different things that people don't know. I believe that this is someone's end game. I believe that all the indicators were there over the years. When you go back all the way back to Kennedy's assassination, all of the indicators were there. It's just like a chess match. A lot of people played checkers, but it was just like a chess match. There was an opening move back even before Kennedy, but I believe that the stage of the game, that who's ever running all of this are in their end game right now. And I believe that, the pharmaceutical companies, you could check, they weren't making as much money. A lot of people were, and I'm not saying that they were the ones behind this, but I'm saying they were a co-contributor in this. There was a lot of things, people were suing them. You would see a lot of big lawsuits for a lot of different things in the pharmaceutical company or whatever like that. But now, vaccinations is where they're going to make their money.
Right.
Because they're going to tell this society that if you're not vaccinated, your kid can't come to school. You can't come into this bar. You can't do this. You can't, because now the thing is that we have to what's the solution? Because they always create the problem. Look at any standard commercial. The commercial says what? We have to start a problem. Kid can't get no pussy. Oh, but if he drinks Sprite or if he wear Axe cologne or whatever, guess what happens? The girl comes to him.
Oh, I thought he was gay. I thought Sprite and Axe cologne made you gay. All right.
Let me tell you something. And that is what made them gay.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
obey your thirst for that dick. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that now they're in their end game because now they got our attention. You remember when that second plane hit the second tower? When the first plane hit on the first tower, everybody was watching the news or whatever like that. And they said, okay, it was an error, whatever the fuck happened. We didn't know, whatever. But when that second plane hit, everybody around the world was on the same page at the same time. This was a direct attack that something happened. And we all instantly, when we saw that plane go into that building, instantly everybody was on the same page. And I, being in the United States Air Force, did not believe the official story, and still to this day do not believe the official story. But that's a whole nother podcast. Because I was in the Air Force, I understand what the jets are supposed to be. And you're going to tell me they were running a drill. Okay, but that's for a whole nother day.
Yeah, I never flew a plane, but I've bowled. I was like, oh, they picked up the 710 split. Oh, shit, I didn't know they could do that. With the second one, they hit it. They picked up the 710 split.
The 710 split. So the thing is, it was like, it's like they hedged their bets because they knew everybody would be watching because the first plane was there. I'm saying that there isn't a elite enough group to have enough power to say, okay, everybody watch right now. And then here's what I really want. Now that I got your attention, here's why I really wanted your attention. Understand that you don't know about this world. And boom, when that second plane hit, it was the sound of the screeches that you heard, the screams that people, because people, it was like a vulnerable scream. When people saw the second plane hit, it was like, oh my God, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? We are under attack. And that's never happened on American soil like that. And so the thing is that with this pandemic, they put the world, they made the world go in their house. They made the world sit down and watch the news. They made the world remember terms like flatten the curve and all the other bullshit that they tell people to do. And they make the world every day come back to it. So now when they release them back out of this, well, you can't go back to that. You can't go back to not knowing. I can't go back to not knowing what it's like to kill a person after having killed people. You know what I'm saying? I can't ever go back to that. I remember a time before that, but I'll never be that person again. All I can do is strive and try to be as happy as I can to be that person. But people who know me know my dark side. But the thing is that when we get released from all of this, the social distancing, we know those words now. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and what
it used to be called restraining order. I think it's cool. Exactly. It's got a better name now.
Exactly. And now what does that do now? What does that fucking do? That makes us not be able to get together against a unit that we all have a common enemy. So what that does is make me not trust the person down the street. Okay, I want to still keep my distance because I don't know if it's over. And they want you, because and that's why I like Donald Trump. Donald Trump's like, fuck this. I know the game. I know what's going on. And people are like, well, Donald Trump is going to be personally liable if more people die and he opens up the cities. And the governors are saying, you know, he don't tell us to open up our cities. We tell her, shut the fuck up. So, but what I'm saying is that we are living at a time where I don't think we're going to go back to stand-up comedy. Like, I was supposed to be at the Borgata I would have been performing at the Borgata this whole week. I don't think that those big crowds are coming back so soon.
No, I would say the earliest is fall next year, 2021, around then when we start seeing big crowds, big places again. The earliest. They actually got Vince McMahon involved in that group for the economy to help. Trump is using him to understand how to put big gatherings together. And the reason why I know something's bad, the day he named Vince McMahon to that group, the next day Vince let go of half his wrestling staff, writers, crew, and wrestlers, which means he knows he's not traveling for a while because he had to release all these people because he had 3 rosters and he had to cut everyone down plus the crew because they're recording in one place. So if a guy, a billionaire who has privy to information, all of a sudden makes a move like that, that means we ain't traveling for a while. We're not going out there. He's canceling a lot of things. So to me, that makes us go, we'll see no sports for the next year. We'll see no huge arenas. I think some small shows will happen again, but the crowds will be weird. It'll be the people that never tried to even be healthy, the scary coffin people. They'll come out to shows, and we're not going to want to be near them. You know what I mean?
If as long as we can get away from this online bullshit of comedy, I don't even call it comedy. I will never call.
I'm not doing it. I've been asked. I'm not doing it. We can do this. This is fine. Just keep our minds going. Find new ways to create. You're making videos. You're doing podcasts and shows. I'm doing the same thing. I'm learning Zoom. I didn't know how to use Zoom before. I'm learning shit. That's what we should do. Doing stand-up in your room and making people pay $10 to pretend like it's okay. Fuck you. That's like paying for a hand job. It's like you can do this on your own. Wait till it's over and get laid.
And what got me was when the comedians would I would start seeing people doing different stuff. And I'm not saying that people don't have different talent, but I mean, girls that you were a comedian last week, this week you're showing your titties already. We're 2 weeks in. Like wait on it.
Yeah.
Like
you went too hard, too fast. You know what I mean? And it's like a comic opened up by calling everybody a cunt. It's like close with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't open up with it. Kiss them first, then put your fingers in. Don't just put a fist in right away.
Exactly. The pussy's still dry. You know what I'm saying? And that's I feel like we have to do this. We have to support each other. I met Anthony Cumia at the right time, I felt, doing Let's Get Loud back in September. I learned a lot of his styles and stuff like that, meaning he when you talk about top-notch professional, the dude is top-notch. And doing that show that me and you did with Dave Landau that day, I learned a lot from you.
So fun.
Yeah, so fun. I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from Dave. And it was just so amazing. And I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because first I looked at doing the podcast. I was like, okay. Remember when Jordan went and played baseball?
Yes.
I thought that was me doing a podcast. I was like, everybody knows I'm funny as shit as a comic, but doing a podcast, can I do it? I can sit on a panel with somebody like you and we can have some fun, but being the host of it, I wasn't sure. So that's why I always was at Compound Media, just to get my reps in, and watch the veterans like Cumia and Dave and you and all these people come in. And I was like, oh, it's okay. It's like in the back of the classroom. again. You know what I'm
But
saying?
there is a difference, though. I was talking with Gino yesterday about this. The greatest feeling in the world, I'm sure you experience, only people that have done this can talk about this. Sitting in the big boy chair, sitting in Anthony's chair is such a different feeling. But it's like your first time on stage. You might not be good at it yet, but you know it feels right. You sat there and you went, ooh, I got it. And I've seen you sit in that chair and went, Larry, you command it. When I sat there, I went, ooh, I got this. I can control this. But that comes from us watching Anthony, from us watching Gino, who does it brilliantly and does not get the credit he deserves. That team, that In Hot Water show is incredible. Aaron is a genius. Garrett and Steve are brilliant. But Gino has to play the role of the guy who's pretending like he's really interviewing all these fucking things. Gino has this a much crazier version of Phil Hartman, where he kind of has to be the straight man in this world of crazy. He still gets to be funny and be himself, but he has to interview these weird characters. Aaron Berg is like if all the Whack Pack was one guy. He has to be 80 characters, and Gino's got to play with that and deal with being taunted and bullied in a joking way. And he steers it by sitting in that chair, watching Mike Malice do that, watching Pat Dixon do it. Learn from these guys. Pat Dixon is incredible, and every time he's on the show, you know that show's going to be professional and run smoothly, no matter what kind of show he's on. And when I got to sit in that chair, I was like, ooh, now I know how to be a better guest, too, because I've learned from sitting in this chair and how to balance back and forth. And it is something. And Cumia, you don't realize how much of a genius he is, because he doesn't need Dave, but genius. He doesn't need Dave Landau, but to understand the brilliance of Dave Landau and how to make sure that he gets the best out of him. I mean, he's at the best in the world. When you sit in that other chair, you and I are sitting in the same spot as a Burr, as a Patrice, as a Norton. I had to be on the show one time with Norton and Landau, two of the biggest snipers in comedy in that way. And I held my own.
Norton is so fucking great.
Norton's brilliant. And it was like, and they all know each other so well, and I didn't know them. And I'm sitting here trying to do that. But you learn so much. For Anthony to say, let Dave shine, because it makes me stronger. He can just do it. He can put someone weak there, but he doesn't. He challenges himself, and that makes me understand to challenge myself as well.
Yeah, I learned from Anthony Cumia. What I learned from him, I mean, the dude is so fucking positive. I mean, he's always looking for the joke. Like, he keeps the balloon in the air. So, I mean, even if he's talking about a serious subject, and this is what I'm telling you, this is what I had to learn. Sometimes I can talk about a serious subject, and it takes a turn. It takes a turn into seriousness or whatever. Cumia, he still has 5 or 6 punchlines off the top of his head for the serious subject, and then Dave feeds off of that, and then the E-Rock comes in off the booth. He keeps the balloon. Let me tell you something. Howard Stern was one of my favorite people doing it.
Right. Same here. When I was growing up, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something right now, and I love Anthony Cumia, the way he does his show, whatever. I'll watch it. Sometimes I don't have time to watch it because I'm doing something or whatever like that. But I make sure I go back and catch up, because it's just like learning. It's just like getting your reps in. You have to see when it's done the correct way. I'm not going to steal his style. I'm not going to do the way that he does it, but you know what's right and what's not right.
And he gave me confidence in myself, because I've been a guest on many radio shows, like regular radio, podcast, all that stuff. I'm someone who thinks of a joke all the time. I want to get my stuff in. But sometimes some shows are like, well, this is, like you just said, this is not the time to joke. We're talking about a serious thing. My second time ever on there, it was just me and him. Dave couldn't be there. And all of a sudden I went from being like with a bunch of people, just me and Anthony. It was a little bit intimidating at first, because he's Anthony goddamn Cumia. So I'm sitting there, and they had someone call in, and this person was an actor who was molested by it was Kevin Spacey or one of them. He was one of those, one of the guys that was touched by him or whatever. And so or one of the, I forget which guy touched him, whatever. But anyway, so he's interviewing him through Skype, and I didn't know if I was supposed to talk or not, but Anthony had me on and didn't say no to it. So I'm making jokes during this serious interview, and I got some bad feedback from people on Twitter, like, how dare you? But Anthony was like, that was great. That was fun. He trusted me and allowed me to be me. He didn't shut me down. He didn't say whatever. He said, we're having you on to be you. And the same way you said, allowed me to be funny, allowed me to use my creativity in the way I know. I didn't have to cater to what he wanted, and he didn't make me change who I am. And it made me trust myself more. So now when I'm on a show, if someone like you when you talk, you have a lot of information. You don't ramble off where I'm like, some people I have to cut them off because like, where are you going with this? I know you know where you're going, so I can sit back and know the audience is going to enjoy you talking. But the next person, I will know I have to read them and go, oh, they need me to carry them. I need to do this and that. You and I don't need to write notes about what we're going to talk about. Some people will say, what are we going to talk about? I don't like doing that, but if they need it, I'll give it to them, like a little structure. But I know we can do this. And that's what Anthony does. He doesn't have notes about us. He has notes to the side about topics and shows. And I've learned that trust yourself and then trust that you can make everyone stronger, but also play off their strengths.
I mean, it was like he's like a Phil Jackson that plays the game too. You know what I'm saying? Because he has an offense and it's a clear structure or whatever like that, and he has a good support team around him, so he's clearly winning championships. I never listened to Opie and Anthony back in the day or whatever like that. Patrice was my friend, but I never listened to Opie and Anthony. Maybe I've heard a couple bits or whatever like that. But the thing is that I was in awe when I first saw him doing the style that I'm talking about. Like, they were talking about something serious, and he still had jokes and voices and da-da-da, whatever. He made you feel good about breaching the subject without feeling like, oh, I got to walk away and now go sleep in my bed all day long and can't get out of the bed. Sometimes you talk about some of these subjects and people just, they want to stay in the bed all day. What the fuck is it all worth it for? He makes you want to come back and think of the punchline or whatever like that. And he challenged me. He didn't do it personally. He challenged me to do that by watching him, and which made my podcast better exponentially.
What he's like is like, okay, so there are some people, like a teacher, there's some teachers that can teach well, but you don't really take the message in because they don't make it fun. They can give you information. And there's some people that make things fun, but they make it so fun that you don't learn. Anthony has this incredible way to give you the message he wants to give you and make you connect and make it resonate, but also make you laugh. He can understand, he can get the point across, but also get the jokes in through a humorous way, but not so crazy that you lose the point in the message. It's a combination of being learned not that I'm saying that he's like well educated. I don't know anything about his education at all, but when he gets into something, he learns it 1,000,000% and gets really on board. Learns it so much that he can actually satirize it, and that's a big step, that he can actually learn it so well that he can now make fun of it as well. And that makes you realize that, there's more to this than just sitting in front of a microphone. You should do research on things. You should be well-rounded. You should be able to have a conversation with anyone.
Yes, and I think that, like, he's an adult that's still a kid. But you recognize the adult in him, but he's still a kid enough to know that whatever we did in middle school, there's still that middle school boy in him with the joke. But he's learned it and an adult enough to know how to shape it to where it's, you know what I'm saying? And I just like I said, I don't look at Anthony as anything other than a good human being. You know, when I first got to Compound, people was like, yo, you over at Compound Media? I think Anthony's racist or whatever like that. I've never
I've actually lost some friends who were like, when you said you lost your girl, I've had people say, oh, you're going over there, so I guess you're racist now. I guess you're homophobic now. I guess you like guns now. I was like, it's Anthony Cumia. It's a comedy show. It's freedom of speech. Watch In Hot Water. If you don't like Cumia, but it's like, it's not race. There's nothing racist about it.
Yeah.
He might have point of views that you may not agree with, but that doesn't, just because I'm there. No, I'm saying people in general. Yeah. But listen, but before you decide you don't agree with it, listen to it. Pay attention to it. I'll give you a password for a week. Watch for a week. Check it out. Yeah. Then if you think he's that way, then fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But you're
wrong. But I know you're wrong.
And it's saying something about you that you can't see the humor. You can't see it's comedy. It's not the hate speech network. It's comedy. They're making jokes. The comedians are on the show.
Yeah, and I was one of those people that, like, you know, like stand-up comedy, I know I can go on stage at any given time and rock it. There's not even going to be a question. I'm going to rock it. Sitting down in that chair, I had a little question. And it was because I met him and watched him and watched Aaron and watched Gino and watched Pat and watched you. And I swear to God, it was that episode that you and I were on Cumia's show that turned the dial for me. and made me understand, because it was like you were like a big brother to me, even though you're younger, but it's like you were like a big brother to me in this arena. And Dave Landau, I mean, God, remember we had a whole agenda that we were going to talk about on that show, and we didn't even get to it. Nope. And it just took off.
Because Dave was filling in for Anthony, so I was filling in for Dave. So you were like filling in for me because I was supposed to be the guest on that show. And we all took on new roles. But it was so cool that everyone just looked at each other and said, "Oh, we all three got this." Everyone had confidence in everyone.
Like, and we had a great topic. We were talking about Epstein. I can't remember what we were talking. And then you were teaching me the internet and shit like that.
I kept yelling out different porn we could watch, and a cartoon porn. And you're like, "Oh, they can do that?" I go, "Watch Scooby Doo." And all of a sudden, Scooby Doo was getting fucked, and you're like,
"Yo, I'm so old school." It's just you know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is that that's my whole mantra about life. I can get along with anybody. It's been tested. I've been put to the test. I've gotten along with Klan members. I've gotten along with, anybody on this planet. If you have a heartbeat and your blood, you breathe oxygen and you have blood going through your veins, I guarantee you, I can get along with you, because I'm going to look to get along with you, because I see you as just a person, just like me. I see you as my father. I see you as my sister. I see you as my brother. I see you the same. When I tell people always go, I can't date a girl if she's Italian. I can't date a girl if she's Chinese. I can't date a girl if she's black or whatever like that. And I always tell them, if you can't date a girl because of the casing of her skin, and she's fine, I'm going to tell you something, nigga, you gay. I'm going to just say that shit right now. Don't bring racism into your gayness. And it's okay for you to be gay. But if I can't look at a person and go, General Wash, I got friends in Alabama. I got friends in Mississippi. I got friends, overseas. I have so many friends in this world through my lifetime that we talk on the phone daily. And people be like, how did y'all two get together, whatever like that? Because there's a human element to everything. Because at a time like this, they didn't just send the black people in the house. The black people wouldn't go. But I'm just saying, they sent everybody in the house. So that must mean somebody is looking at all of us the same way. And I do believe, listen, I got reasonable doubt for a lot of shit that's happened in history. You're not going to sell that Kennedy horse shit to me, one bullet bullshit. You're not going to sell it to me. It's just not going to happen in this fucking life. It's not going to happen. Right. I'm sorry. I don't buy the bullshit official story. And you're not going to tell me somebody didn't plan this for us. It's something that I am willing to, and I can back it up, but it's something that I am willing to say I stand opposite of what they're telling you.
Oh, and I think you're onto something big. I think the people that started the seed of racism were gay. Yeah. Because they had to be because what happened was, I bet you a guy walked by and he saw like a hot black girl and he went, "Ooh, I'd fuck that." And he's like, "Excuse me?" And he's like, "Well, but she's black." He's like, "Yeah, but look, you see her ass?" It's like, and there's like an Asian girl. It's like, "Yo, look at her. That Asian girl looks good." Asian people look really good even when it's cold out. Like, that's a weird thing. They look like hot Eskimos. I enjoy that. I mean, like, no, you should just fuck white people. I'm like, why?
What?
They're people. Let's just fuck them. And then they went, you know what? Separate the water fountains. You ain't fucking them. Yeah. And that's what happened. I think that's how it started.
See, I grew up Italian, so the thing is that a lot of our people were bookmakers. A lot of our people were in the casinos down in Atlantic City and everything like that. So I know the game. Casinos don't give a fuck when you walk in there who you are. They want all your money. So I understood a more mature way of looking at life from a crime way of looking at life. You know what I'm saying? And I don't subscribe. Even when people make jokes or whatever like that, the black this, the black that, I just laugh because I understand. Like, it's probably not original. It's probably not original.
It's ignorant, and it comes out of the fear of the unknown, and it comes out of control. At the end of the day, it's not about you not liking a color of skin. It's like, I think if we all get together, then I can lose my thing somehow. It's that fear. So if I separate people and make them all think they're in separate groups, then I can control what I need to control. That's all it is. I don't think anyone really hates anyone for the color of their skin. They might have been told that, and then they believe it. I think it's more about, like I said, it's more classist than it is racist. It's more about the control of what I can have. I'm poor, and those people want to be poor, but they're taking from my poor stuff, so I don't like them because of this color. You're just mad because you don't have the good TV they got. That's all you're fucking mad at.
Because you're a charcoal briquette. No, the thing is, one of my
and I'm a diamond. I'm a goddamn diamond.
Yeah, one of my things. I said number 3. My best friend. One of my best friends. His name is Chip. He grew up in the Ku Klux Klan. Now, my father, he was in the Nation of Islam. You know, even though his family's Italian, whatever like that, his black side took him into the Nation of Islam. Now, let me tell you something. When we got the basic training, he and I was at odds all over each other. He was a Southern guy from Alabama. He said, "I heard black people had tails. Where's your tail?" And I mean, he came fully loaded when he saw me, and he would go.
You were like, "Whatever, Chip." Your fucking name is Chip. That's the white Karen. Fuck you,
right.
Chip.
The white
Ku Klux Chip. Shut your fucking mouth, white tail.
Chip.
Well, the fucking Chip. That ain't a name. That's a snack, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, and Chip from the debate club. But I used to always call him Chip from the debate club. But now here's what happened. That got us. Okay, so our drill instructor. See, when you're about to go into a war, they don't have time for your little bullshit ass squabbles between black, white, short, tall, whatever, hair, no hair, bullshit, whatever. They don't have time for that. They have to get you on one mission to go. And they always told us the mission comes first. And so they put me and Chip together. Me and Chip had to, anywhere I had to go, Chip had to be. Anywhere Chip had to go, if Chip had to go to the bathroom, I had to go to the bathroom.
Did they call you guys Chocolate Chip?
Oh my God, yes they did.
No, I know they had to. That sounds like a very military. Military jokes are very simple and on the nose. They're funny, but they're very on the nose. They don't fuck around. They just got the black, white chocolate chip.
Exactly. Yeah. So the next thing you know, we had. They would give him the black target to shoot at. They would give me the white target to shoot at. You see what I'm saying? Like they fuck with our heads or whatever like that. And then, but see, anywhere he went, I had to go. But now, me and Chip still didn't like each other, but we had to bunk together. We had to do every fucking thing together. So what happened was, and when you're in the military, universality happens, meaning like something happens that's a common thing to any race. You get that Dear Jody letter, that Dear John letter, you know, from your girl saying she want to break up with you now. Because this was prior to, like now, it's anytime you tell somebody using the military, before you can get the next sentence out, they be like, "Oh, thank you for your service. Thank you for the service." But back in the 80s, it was just general.
Yeah, no one gave a fuck then. They're like, "Oh, you couldn't get into college?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was.
So next thing you know, me and Chip, we were like, we both broke up with our girl. Chip got a letter from his girlfriend that said she was breaking up with him, and that hurt him. That hurt him dearly. Even when I thought I hated him, that hurt him dearly, and that touched me.
Did she sleep with a black guy?
No, she didn't.
Oh, that would have been great.
That would have. He would have killed me. Chip would have killed me. Chip, yeah. I know Chip. Chip would have killed me. Chip would have killed me. I would have never made the
You know him?
It was you. It was fucking you. It was one of your monkey brothers. But anyway, so I'm telling you how Chip was. Telling you how
he was
Chip
in the Klan. He wasn't a treat.
So the thing is that, but Bon Jovi at the same time had the album out, Slippery When Wet.
Yes.
And my girlfriend, my girlfriend gave me a Dear John letter too. So we both were hurt at the same time when our girlfriends told us that they were fucking somebody else back at home, and we're in basic training, getting ready to go to tech school to go to a war. But now, that's generally when girls break up with you. Either they're going to stay with you or they're going to break up with you. Now, it's more leaning towards staying with you. But back then, as soon as you left, somebody was fucking your girl. So the thing is that we were hurt. But Bon Jovi had that song, "You Give Love a Bad Name." Oh my God, me and Chip at the time, we wore that fucking tape out. It was a tape, it was cassette tape. We played that whole Slippery When Wet album back to fucking back. We bonded, we cried, we did we became the best of motherfucking friends. Let me tell you something. By the time we left tech school, if you would have said anything about Chip, I would have killed you. He would have killed you if you'd said it. It's still to this day. We're still good friends. And we tell that story. He comes to my shows sometimes. But the thing is that we started out so separate, but now we're so cool because we had a shared experience. And that's the one thing I learned about this life. I tell everybody at my show, I said, everybody breathe out. Everybody breathe air out of your body. And everybody goes, what? And I said, just breathe all the air in your body. I go, and they go, and then I say, okay. And I said, breathe all the way out. I said, did y'all notice we all had to do the same thing? We all had to take air back in our body. So the person who did not have to get air back into their body to survive, that's the different person. But if you're going to tell me you had to take a breath of air and you had to take a breath of air, fuck you, you're not different than me. I'm sorry. We have too many things that are more important to us that we have in common than some of the differences. Like, oh, you're a different hue than this person, or you grew up in Connecticut and I grew up in South Philly. I'm sorry. That's just not enough for me.
Yeah, you sit on stage, you tell the people all to breathe, and then you say it with me. I'll be there for you. These 5 words I swear to you. If you breathe, I want to be the air for you. I'll be there for you. And they go, Bon Jovi? Like, yeah, Bon Jovi brings people together. That's
I'll
what he does.
be there for you.
These 5 words I swear to you. If you breathe, Chip won't fucking hate you. I'll be there for you and Chip just holding hands, staring at each other in a nice new fucking Jungle Fever version of Brokeback Mountain. I like it.
I want you to understand. I just want you to understand. You just wrote my new ending to that joke, and I'm
happy I can help.
You could always say, I gave him that, and here's the day I gave it to him on this show, and all my guests, all my fans, because that's fucking amazing. I'll be there for you.
You and Chip just staring at each other. Oh, it's beautiful. It's like,
yeah.
Hey, Larry, I thank you so much for being on, man. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
The hour flew by. Where can people follow you? Where can they see your show? All that shit.
Okay, Let's Get Loud podcast. You can go to Apple Podcasts. You can also go to YouTube, and then on Facebook, Apple Let's Get Loud podcast with me and Josie D. It's hot, and when we get back to Compound Media, we'll start taping it again at Compound Media, and it's just been beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm happy to connect with you. We should have done this sooner. I want to do it again. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm happy you're doing well in Connecticut. So we're close. Yeah. We're not too close. We can't see each other, but we're here. And let's definitely I'll have you back on again soon, man. Thank you so much.
I always got your back, man. Always got your back.
Same here, my friend. Always. We'll talk
Peace.
soon.